I loved the cinematography, especially some of the black and white that they did. I thought was great. I also loved the costumes. It really gave you this futuristic feel, and as did the music. I thought that the music in this was just perfection. The consent form and the special effects that they were doing with their phones and not their phones, but it was like that display in their hands that they could pull up. The consent form was hilarious. So there were moments in this that had humor to it. There were a lot of moments that had a lot of suspense. Kind of reminded me of Black Mirror.
I would say Twilight Zone, Black Mirror-esque world that is built for us. It is in a different time, a different place. It's in black and white. And in doing so, um, you don't really see the darkness is that our main character possesses here. We can tell she's very by the book, based in this opening sequence of having to essentially sign paperwork to consent to making love, so to speak. And we see that because there is an error in the uploading of the paperwork, they just kind of, toss it to the side and, end up turning in and tucking in for the evening. And this shows how very by the book she is. Really loved the fact that it was in black and white. I loved her costume. I think it made her very strong and very powerful. Both her work outfit and, this piece of lingerie that we see is really sleek. It's chic, it's powerful. And again, translates really well to the comic book. You kind of see the face tattoo that is a good indicator of who she is in the comics versus who she became in the adaptation.
I thought, first of all, the opening shot of the city was great. I thought the music was really perfect throughout. In the wardrobe was really good. Everything was so controlled. Like I wrote down in the beginning, this is so controlled. And then, of course, it talks about being corporate socialism. And it's kind of interesting how they say they want people to be happy, but yet we're going to kill you if you don't, spend the right amount of money at the right amount of time. And very interesting. And then I thought, I wonder where they got this idea. This is really interesting. And then I saw that it was based on a comic book. So I thought that was interesting too. I'm like, oh, there's a comic book. So maybe I'll have to look that up because I really did want to see more, actually. Yes, it took a really weird turn with the cat and all of a sudden there's like blood all over and, the fighting it just was a little strange for me. But I think because this woman didn't seem like she would, do something like that. So it was kind of a shocker. Great ending song with the credits and just really interesting. I thought the acting was really good.
This is terrifyingly feasible. Human elites deciding what's best for everyone. What could possibly go wrong? I like the monochromatic film and the performances. It was so cool. Oh, especially then realizing this comes from a comic. It is just majestic. It is a very scary plot and super original story. They perform it perfectly and they use amazing special effects to give us this vibe.
I loved their use of black and white with this. I thought that was a really interesting choice. And I thought it ended up being really impactful because kind of in this futuristic world, it seemed like a lot of free choice had been stripped away and it seemed like a lot of expression had been stripped away. And so I really liked that they set everything in black and white. I think it just really worked with those kind of concepts and just how kind of boiled down this society it seems, with everything kind of working towards this like common good. but with having all of these restrictions on it of like how much you have to spend on entertainment and whatever, and then the repercussions of that, how pets weren't an approved leisure activity, things like that, I think were just like really well done and really fascinating. And like I said, even like his free choice about his car, where, you know, he was like, oh, I was saving for this, and she's like, that's dumb, you don't need it. Just this kind of overreaching idea, but at the same time, you have her and her boyfriend, and you see that, like, she even says right before she walks in of like, okay, time to put on like my work attitude or work mask or persona or whatever she said. And so I thought it was really interesting to kind of see both sides of it, and how clearly she was making all of these decisions and having this conversation with this guy, but at the same time, like, you could tell she was just a cog in the machine.